Hank from New Jersey. It's the SNL Nerds, a show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
John Trumbull, how are you, good sir? Happy Father's Day to you, sir.
Happy Father's Day to you.
Yes, neither one of us are fathers, but I feel like I had to just say that, just because, you know, it's the season, as they say.
You felt socially obligated, yes.
Yes, absolutely. Out of social obligation, I feel like I need to say Happy Father's Day to you. And Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. To Mikey Day, Keenan, who else? Alex Moffat has a kid, I believe, or Beck Bennett. I'm trying to think of all the SNL cast members I know that are dads. Lorne, of course.
That might be about everybody in the current and recent cast.
Yes,
I don't know. I don't keep track of their personal lives that much.
You don't keep track of who's popping out kids and who's not?
No.
Well,
not at all.
I'll step your game up, sir.
Because it doesn't really affect my life one way or the other. You know, it's like if they have kids, great. I hope they're happy. I hope everyone's healthy and happy and all that. Doesn't really affect how they do on the late night comedy show that we watch.
I guess not, but it's good to know, though. It's good to, like, you know, it makes you more fun at parties if you know things like that.
Does it, though? Very few things make me fun at parties, Darren.
The parties I go to, it makes me a blast.
What parties are you going to?
I've already said too much. I didn't. This is awkward. We're all off to an awkward start.
I went to a party Memorial Day weekend and it went very well. I was like the most extroverted version of myself. I am still like basically recovering from that. So,
You're just soaking in a tub of ice. Be like, oh god, so much, so hard.
Well, you know, maybe by 4th of July I'll be ready to be sociable again.
Okay, mark it on your calendars. You hear that, people? July 4th, Sociable John Trumbull. Get ready for it.
Maybe, I said.
I'm sorry, let's not...
This is not a done deal. This is not a definite deal.
I don't want to commit you to anything that you're not ready for. I'm so sorry.
No, exactly.
Okay.
Do you even introvert, bro?
I guess I don't. But on today's episode... since we are recording on Father's Day, we're going to talk about a movie about fathers.
One father in particular.
Yes, one father in particular.
Played by Mr. Patton Oswalt.
Yes, the lovable Patton Oswalt. We're talking about the film I Love My Dad, with Patton Oswalt, Rachel Dratch, and James Morosini, who wrote and directed this and stars in it as the son.
I didn't realize until we got to the very end of this that the person who plays Patton Oswalt's son in this movie, who is like, you know, he and Patton Oswalt are the two main characters of it, I would say.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until we got to the very end that he was also the writer and director. And I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed. Because I thought the direction was so good. I love this movie. This thing blew me away, man.
Oh, wow. Blew you away.
This was great.
Okay. Yeah, no. Let's put the cards on the table right now. Yeah, I dug this movie as well. I thought it was like a small indie type of film. Like it came out last year, August 5th, 2022. Mm-hmm. I think it only made like $103,000 from what I see.
Something like that, yeah. So it was probably like real limited release. And it's a niche kind of film.
Very much so.
It's certainly not for everybody because it's an unusual premise. It gets very dark. It gets very cringy.
Yeah.
I guess we should get into what the movie's about if the people don't know.
Yeah. So it's a very simple premise. So basically, the movie is about Patton Oswalt plays this guy Chuck. He's estranged from his son Franklin, played by James Morosini. And Chuck's he loves his son, has a lot of love for his son, but Chuck's a bit of a fuck up. He's
not a good dad. He's maybe a good person at heart. I mean, you do like sympathize with Chuck and you see where he's coming from. But like as the movie opens, his son Franklin, played by James Morosini, he's like in recovery, it's kind of implied that he had a suicide attempt. They don't really
Yeah,
get into it in a big way, but he's in emotionally, mentally in a very fragile state.
yeah, he's in a support room. I think they do. He does mention in the movie like, oh, he tried to kill himself, so he is
Yeah.
suicidal. So I you get the sense that a lot of the reason he's not super well is because of his dad, who is extremely flaky. He's a compulsive liar, and he's just like this really just flaky dude. And again, it's like he's not a bad guy. Like
Do,
he's not
do you think
malicious
he's a
with it.
compulsive liar, or can he just not live up to his promises? Because I don't know if those are
Hmm.
the same thing.
I don't know. I mean, his son calls him a compulsive liar, so that's what I just
Oh,
assume
okay,
he's like.
okay.
But I don't. That's a good. I don't. Yeah, it's a good point. I know. I don't know if he's a compulsive liar, but he is definitely pretty flake. Like you. Like all right. So one example, they showed us in the movie where they show like a flashback of Chuck with his, I guess, 8-year-old son Franklin at the time, and they found a dog, and Franklin really loves the dog they
Yeah,
found, and like Chuck sees how happy the dog makes him, and then Franklin was like, "Well, can we keep the dog?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course we can keep him." And then he's like, "Oh, but wait, what if he's a lost dog? What if somebody's looking for him?" And Chuck does this like kind of like finders keepers shrug type of thing.
yeah, and then as they're walking home with their new dog, they pass a telephone pole that has like a lost dog flyer up, and we see Chuck just grab it and crumple it and
Yeah,
toss it away because he's just
yeah.
like, our dog now.
Yeah, yeah. So that kind of sets a tone for the type of guy Chuck is. Like
Yeah,
he loves his son so much he's willing to do the wrong thing just to see him
very
happy.
questionable things. So
Yeah.
yeah, so as the movie starts out, his son Franklin has decided, for my emotional health, I have to cut my dad out of my life, and
Yes.
I'm blocking him on social media.
Right.
And he's like, this is something I just have to do for me. And his dad so wants to be a part of his kid's life, but he's not quite sure how, and he's not really welcome because he's screwed up so often in the past.
Yeah. Like his Franklin's mom, who's Chuck's like wife, like pretty much hates him. So
Yeah.
like he'll talk to him because they need to because of the kid, but for the most part, she doesn't want anything to do with him. And yeah, like you said, Franklin blocks him on his phone and on social media. So
Right.
he's like wants nothing to do with him because he knows his dad's kind of a loser.
Yeah, yeah, and he's got sort of like these grandiose plans that he can never quite live up to or pull off, and like he wants to be there for his son. He wants to be a great father, but it's not really in his ability. He doesn't really know how to be a father, and so as Chuck is talking about this with this problem with his coworker about how his son has blocked him on social media. He's talking to his coworker played by Lil Rel.
Yes.
Um, and he says, "Well, once when I'd broken up with my girlfriend, I like pretended to be somebody else on social media and I catfished her."
Right. And that
And
that plants the seed.
yeah, and so Chuck decides to create another profile, another identity on social media, and he catfishes his own son basically, and it's
Yeah.
so fucked up.
It really is. Like even in the beginning of this movie, it says in text, the following actually happened. My dad asked me to tell you it didn't. And we find out like I
Yeah,
think Morosini's dad actually did do this because he was estranged from his father. And I mean I don't know how
yeah.
far it went. I'm hoping it didn't go as far as it did in this movie.
Well, I did a little reading about it, and yeah, yeah, it did actually happen. Morosini is like 32 now, and this happened when he was 20.
Oh, okay.
Um, and he talks about, and it's like a fictionalized version of what happened to him. And apparently he created the story by saying like, well, what would have happened if it had like gone further than it did, or if I didn't catch on as soon as I did. So I think it gets more extreme in the movie than it did in life,
Oh, thank God. All right,
but I mean,
yeah.
still pretty fucked up thing to do.
Pretty fucked. Yes. Yes, very much so. Pretty fucked
Um,
up, very fucked up.
Very fucked up. Very fucked up. I mean, I keep making allowances and excuses because one, Patton Oswalt is just so damn likable.
Yeah,
You
I
would
think.
hate this character if it was played by somebody other than Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, I think like casting Patton in this role was key because
Mm-hmm.
it's like you said, like he's so likable and so beloved in Hollywood, and people just love him. It, I mean, the only other person, maybe Paul Rudd could pull it off, but like if you cast the wrong person in this role, you
Right.
could immediately hate Chuck and despise him and want him to,
Yeah.
fuck off forever. But like because Patton Oswalt can bring that likability and sort of, I guess, gravitas to
Mm-hmm.
show like why he's doing what he's doing, that you can I think that's the thing. Like you have to have an actor that you can say, well, this is fucked up, but I sympathize with him in a weird way.
Yeah, and he's also yeah, like he's also written and directed with a great deal of sympathy. Like
Yes,
the dad is not just a black and white bad guy, and he's not doing this maliciously. He's not like,
right.
oh, my son blocked me on social media, I'll show him. Blah 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 blah.
Mwah-ah-ah-ah.
He yeah, this is just like a man at the end of his rope, and he's like, this is what I have to do. I want to be in my son's life so badly that yeah. So it's just this weird fucked up attempt to reconnect, and it's also fucked up because he doesn't just grab a random person's photos and details of her life. He grabs a woman at a restaurant that he goes to, a diner that he goes to,
Yeah, the waitress.
the waitress who's very nice and personable, and just like one of those real sunny people that you like when you see them, they just kind of brighten your day.
Yeah, the
That's
waitress.
what she seems to be, and the
Yeah,
waitress is played by Claudia uh, Sulski. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but she is great in this.
she's very good. Yeah, like
She's wonderful. Because
absolutely.
and the movie does something very interesting, and it's like, because if you're just telling the story straightforward, you'd have just like a lot of people texting on their phone or typing at keyboards and something, and that's just not very interesting.
Not very
So
cinematic.
yeah, it's not very cinematic. So what they do is they they kind of bring these conversations to life in an imaginary way. So whenever Franklin the son thinks that he is talking to Becca, the waitress, the girl he thinks is into him,
Right.
we see her actually there, actually having a conversation with him.
Right, and their like text back and forth becomes like their dialogue in
Right.
a way. So yeah, so it becomes more personal and like you can, yeah, it works. I thought that was a really clever way to do that to show,
Yeah,
to show
I
that back and
love that
forth.
because I mean it keeps it visually interesting. I mean, you get a lot of the humor from that.
Mm,
And Claudia Sulowski, she's playing like at least two different versions of the same person. She's playing like the fake Becca, and she's playing the real Becca periodically
right.
through the movie, and she's playing like both the version of Becca that lives in Franklin's head, and the version of Becca that Chuck is trying to create. And
Yeah.
I mean, wow! I mean, that just must have been so tough to keep straight in your head, and she did such a great job.
She really did. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
it is kind of difficult to play like two versions of
Mm-hmm.
the same person. Like you said, she's playing like the idealized version that Franklin has in her head of her, and then she's playing like her real actual self. And
Yeah.
yeah, I thought she was a really really strong performer in this film.
Yeah, and he takes and Chuck takes like all these photos from her Facebook profile. This by the way, this makes an excellent case of like why you should change the visibility on your Facebook profile to like friends only, or
Yeah.
or
Oh my
or not have like everything be public on Facebook or
I
or
yeah.
Twitter or whatever, because this movie will give you pause.
It
And
will. Oh, it will.
yeah, and be careful who you accept those friend requests from.
Yeah, that's the one thing I thought was because like I've gotten friend requests like that from people I don't
Mhm.
know, and like I always like I never accept them. Like I think with me, like if you unless you know somebody I know, then I'll, and I don't. But if I don't know you, if you know somebody I know, then I'll accept it. But
Yeah.
if it's just like, oh, you have no friends in common, and I've never heard of you before, like I'd be like, no, this seems weird. It seems fishy.
Yeah, it always seems a little sketchy. And yeah, and I get that from like people I haven't met in life a fair amount of the time because like I'm a comic book fan, and occasionally like some other comic book fan from a group will find me and they'll want to connect or something like that. And even if we've like talked in a thread or something like that, I might not remember that person.
Yeah,
Um, so
absolutely.
my so my basic rule of thumb is if I'm feeling like in the mood to accept a friend request from somebody I haven't met in life that I can
Mhm.
recall, I'll accept it, but then immediately like mark them to acquaintances.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because then you can always decide the audience for a post. And if there's
Oh,
something that's like too, I don't want to let people into every single aspect of my life.
right, exactly. You gotta delegate that shit.
Yeah,
But
exactly. So Facebook posts about you know more intense or more serious stuff or something like that. I'll mark that to like friends except acquaintances or something like that. So
oh,
there's still a degree of privacy
hmm, oh, pretty smart, Trumbull.
for it.
Pretty
That's
smart.
I try to. But I mean, this made me wonder though. I was like, am I being too open on social media? I don't know.
Maybe it's something you gotta really be careful of. I mean,
Yeah.
for the most part, I don't think I post too much like personal stuff on social media. I like
Yeah.
to remain an enigma.
Well,
Yes,
I try not to. Uh,
yeah,
I used to do more, and then you kind of learn like, oh no, this shouldn't be like a diary or something like
yes.
that. It's you
This
know,
isn't my journal. This is
yeah.
everybody can see this.
But at the same time, you don't want to vague book too much because
Yeah,
that's annoying in its own way. And I've even seen things on my social media wall where it's like I look back and it's like, oh, this is something you posted 3 years ago, and I'm like, I have no idea what I was upset about
yeah. So you don't.
anymore because like sometimes I can give myself enough to work on, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember that day. That was a sucky day, and that
Yeah.
was a sucky thing that happened. But other times I'm just like, nope, I got nothing. And it's a
nothing,
weird thing.
nothing here.
It's a
Uh,
weird thing. Even I don't have the the Rosetta Stone to decode that. You know,
if you don't have it, who does?
I don't know. It's just lost to the ages.
It's just it's
So
an indecipherable code.
so yeah. So for most of this movie, Franklin he is talking to his estranged father, and he has no idea that it's his estranged father. He thinks he's just talking to his dream girl,
Yeah, yeah, and
and
like as they keep, messaging, they're like getting closer and closer, and he's sharing more stuff with him. And it's every time it just like through every text, I'm just like, this is really wrong. I
I mean
can't.
it gets so cringy. And I mean, if you don't like cringe humor, this movie is not for you. I loved it. I mean, I'm not super super into cringe humor, but man, I thought this was just beautifully done because it's like it's dark, it's funny, it's dramatic,
Right. I mean,
and
it's not.
it's all that stuff at once. I
Yeah,
I I love this thing, man.
it's good. Yeah, but I mean, it's
I
not
thought I thought this
cringe.
was great. I
Yeah.
thought this. I think this might have been the best movie we've watched for this podcast since like Palm Springs.
Ooh, wow, it's high praise.
I would say it's up there with that for me.
I'll give you that. Cool. Yeah, I mean, because the movie isn't cringe just for the sake of being cringe. There is like a lot
Right.
of heart behind it, like to show how this man loves his son so much and wants to be so much a part of his life. He's willing to sort of, I don't say debase himself, but like doing these very very wrong things just to get close to him, just to get to know him and be a part of
Hmm.
his life. And like, even though everybody in his life tells him this is fucked up, like it turns out, Chuck tells Lil Rel's character Jimmy, which by the way, I didn't
Hmm.
know what like Lil Rel's nickname was for, but like apparently it's like supposed to be like Little Daryl, which is something I thought was interesting.
Oh, okay. So his given first name is Daryl.
No, no, like a basic his. I looked it up. You can look up on Wikipedia. His first name is Milton, actually, which is
Okay.
a name I haven't heard like anybody named in forever. But like apparently when he was younger, he played like high school basketball, and people kind of compared him to his older brother Daryl. So they was like, oh, he's like Little Rel.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, so facts like that you can tell at parties, people. Uh, but
I didn't know that. I did not do any research into Little Rel for this. Like, Little Rel was just somebody I sort of vaguely knew
yeah,
going
he's in a
into
lot
this.
of stuff these days. He's like pops. I
Yeah.
mean, he was in Get Out and Free Guy. He's in a lot of movies. He's around.
Okay. So
Uh,
he's doing a lot of acting these days.
yeah, yeah. He was in an episode of Poker Face. Like
Okay.
his acting his acting resume is quite bulky.
Okay.
But yeah, like so Chuck tells Jimmy about what he did. Jimmy's like, "This is fucked up. You need to tell him." And then Chuck tells Erica, played by Rachel Dratch, who
Yes.
a
That's our
girl.
SNL connection, by the way,
There it
people.
is.
Yeah.
Yes, the woman he's dating.
I'm sure people were like, "What? What? Why are they watching this? What's the Saturday Night Live connection at all?" They haven't said a damn thing. Yeah, Rachel Dratch is in this movie.
There you go. That's the
We
connection.
buried the lead a bit. I'm sorry.
A little bit. Yeah, people are like, "Oh, was Patton Oswalt on SNL?" But yeah, Rachel Dratch plays Chuck's co-worker and I guess girlfriend as well. Like they seem
Yeah,
to be hooking up, and so he
and they
tells
have
her,
kind of a fucked up relationship too.
"Yeah,
Because she seems to be like his supervisor at work, but she's also like, uh, like she wants to sex with him during work hours and stuff.
yeah."
And
She seems to be like super sexual, so like they. Like you said, like they talk dirty at work and whatnot, and but then they see each other after work, so
yeah,
it's very sexy, sexy
yeah,
time.
yeah, and in the scene where the relationship between Franklin and fake Becca kind of progresses to sexting,
Mm.
basically. Patton Oswalt's character Chuck, he does this thing that's a variation of what he did when he was playing chess online.
Oh yes,
He
yes,
had this thing where he was like getting like these incredible stats playing chess online.
yeah.
And we find this out when Franklin is telling
Fake Becca.
Becca, his online girlfriend, about this, and he's like, "Well, this is how fucked up my dad is. For a long time he was playing online chess, and then a Chuck in character as Becca is literally like, oh, we should play right now because it's really Chuck, of course, and and I loved that. That was great. That was really funny. And then he's like, no, but this is how I found out he was doing it. He would get one opponent, play chess with them, and then he'd start out another game and he'd do all that first opponent's moves to the second opponent. And then he'd
Yeah,
make the second opponent's moves against the first opponent. So he's basically a between two other chess players.
yeah, and he's
But
just
because of that, I guess he was able to boost his chess stats in this huge way because he's always winning at least one of the games.
right. Yeah, and I was thinking, like, why is there money involved? Like, why are you doing all of this
I don't
chess
know. I
cheating?
don't. Yeah, maybe he's just doing it for bragging rights, or just because he loves chess, and maybe he's not a very good player. But yeah, he basically does that, and he gets Rachel Dratch's character Erica.
Right.
It was Erica, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so he's sending his son Franklin's responses over to Erica, and then he's typing Erica's responses verbatim so that he can sext from a female point of view. It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up, but it's so funny.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious, and it's just, oh no, I was just like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this is so wrong. And then like as they're making out, they're texting each other, I'm kissing you back,"
Right.
and then it's like you said, like it's like fake Becca kissing Franklin, but at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
it's also like Chuck kissing Franklin, his own
Yeah, and
son.
they'll have the occasional insert shot of like, Patton Oswalt like Frenching the actor playing his son, who's also the writer and director of the movie, which is it's so wonderfully twisted. It's great.
It really, it's just like, wow, this is never seen anything like this before.
And man, Patton Oswalt, he really has a gift for finding these cool, dark but wickedly funny indie comedies that also have this dramatic thread running through them. Like I'm thinking of this. I'm a big fan, young
Yeah.
adult. I mean, like, because I've seen all of those, and all of them just kind of blew me away. And Patton Oswalt's become a really good actor,
Yeah, like I mean,
man.
he's done sort of mainstream stuff too. Like
Mhm.
probably most people know him from like Ratatouille or whatever. But like
Yeah,
I don't know. Like he's done like a good amount of stuff, but still hasn't really kind of had like I guess that true like breakout hit. Like my hope is like one day he has that big breakout hit and gets to host SNL one day. But
I
like
mean,
all this,
yeah, I think he would be a brilliant host for SNL, and I find it kind of mind-boggling that he hasn't hosted the show because I think he's big enough as a stand-up to do it. Certainly,
mm,
I think he's in the same league as like a John Mulaney or a Dave Chappelle or Louis C.K. was when he did it, or certainly Bill
yeah,
Burr,
yeah, Babar, yes,
or Babar the elephant.
yes, the king elephant.
Yeah, Babar should also host SNL. I think that would be fun.
I mean, like he should. I mean, wait till he has something to promote. Then we'll have
He's
more.
he's fucking royalty. Like have Babar on SNL,
That's
you
right.
cowards.
Yeah, come on,
What the
invite him
hell are you
into.
waiting for, Lorne? He's been delighting children worldwide for decades.
Invite him into Studio 8H. And your
Um,
host, Babar.
the elephant. but but yeah, I mean, Pat, he's so good at finding projects like this, and I also really admire that. He'll take whatever cachet or money he gets from maybe the bigger projects or doing cameos in bigger movies, and he just like funnels it into finding cool projects like this to do. And
Yeah, no,
I don't know,
absolutely.
Patton Oswalt. He's one of my favorite stand-ups, and he seems to have such good taste in projects. And he
Yeah.
seems to be just like a genuinely good person too. I'm trying not to get like too parasocial with my relationship with Patton Oswalt, but it's just like I want to hang out with Patton Oswalt, man.
Yeah, like
He seems like a cool dude.
I think everybody has that person, like that one famous person where you genuinely think, if I got a chance to hang out, I think we'd get along. I
Yeah,
think that person could be my
yeah,
friend.
yeah. We could hang out. We could talk comics
Yeah,
and stuff, and we'd have a good old time
I
doing
wouldn't
that. I
I wouldn't
think.
make it weird, but like I think we get along well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, Patton Oswalt, will you be our friend? That's basically what we're asking right here, right now.
Fingers crossed. Fingers
Woo!
crossed. So, but yeah, it's really good, and and of course, as you might expect, eventually this all blows up in his face because how
Yeah,
could it not?
how could it not? Yeah, so basically, it's things happen like where Franklin wants to video chat with her, but he
Yeah,
makes an excuse saying my camera's broke, and
right.
he wants to call.
Yeah,
Uh,
and he gets Rachel Dratch on the phone with him briefly, with his son briefly, to kind of pretend to be Becca,
right, exactly. But
and she's not taking it entirely seriously, and he tells her some story about how and why she's getting on. I think he's saying like, oh, this is just a game my son and I play. And she's like, "Oh, well, what are you wearing?" And she's immediately getting sexual and inappropriate with it,
yes, very much so.
but she's doing it half ironically.
Half. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think through all that, I think Franklin says, "Hey, I'd like to come out and meet you," and then Rachel's like, "Yeah, sure, come on, come up."
yeah, exactly. Because
And
she
Chuck's like,
does
"No,
not.
don't."
Yeah, and she does not realize the gravity of what she's saying,
Yeah,
and
and then I think that's when Chuck tells her the whole story, and she's like, "That's majorly
right.
fucked up."
And she's like, "Oh, that's fucked up." That's
Right.
like you said earlier. As soon as Chuck tells anybody, "Oh, this is what's going on. This is what I'm doing," everyone
Yes.
is like, "Dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
That is
Everybody.
so fucked up. You should not be doing that. You should stop this right now."
Yes. Everybody tells him stop doing this. he keeps on doing it.
He keeps on doing it because, comedy protagonist.
Absolutely. Yeah. So then we get to this point where uh, Franklin wants to see her in person. So then so basically Chuck lives up in Maine and Franklin
Yeah.
lives in Massachusetts. And
Okay. Yeah.
Franklin doesn't have a license, so he can't drive up. His
Right.
mom won't do it, so he figures, well, maybe I'll call my dad finally for this one thing, because I think
Right.
he gets the idea because he bumps into a man and his son with a dog, and then he's like, maybe I should call my dad. So then he
Yeah.
asks his dad to do it, and his dad, of course, says yes. So his
Yeah.
dad's
And as
gonna
far as Franklin is concerned, this is the first contact he's had with his dad in like months.
yes that he
And
knows of.
and he has no idea that he's actually been this woman that he wants to meet is actually his dad.
Yikes! Yikes on
It's
bikes. So Chuck is gonna drive down to Maine. Oh wait, no, drive from Maine to Massachusetts, pick up his son, drive back up to Maine
right.
to meet this woman that he made up in order to talk to his son. So this is
Hmm.
we're here. This is what's going on. I just every time at that point I was like, dude, oh no.
And it's going pretty well at first because Franklin and his dad seem to be bonding and they seem to be getting along. And Franklin's mother, of course, is very concerned because, of course, Franklin, prone to depression, had that recent suicide attempt. So he's
Right,
still in a very fragile state. Mom doesn't know what's going on. And she's in touch with Chuck, the dad, and saying, if you see anything out of the ordinary or
right.
anything, let me know what's going on. So they're both trying to be good parents to their son, but wow,
Oh my god,
she
it
doesn't.
is does not go well. And
Do,
then yeah,
do we want to get into the ending? I almost kind of don't because I want people to just see this and not just
no.
hear us talking about it. And
Oh,
I don't
okay,
want to ruin it for anybody.
okay. Well, do you want to skip ahead to the part where it all falls apart, or I mean,
I
there's a
I don't
lot in here.
know.
There's that.
I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted on it. I mean,
The hotel scene with the online sex talk
yeah.
that was Jesus.
Maybe we should just say spoilers from here on out,
Okay, all right.
and then we can talk about it openly. But I highly, highly, highly recommend if you at all want to see this movie, if this sounds like something you want to see potentially, just watch the movie
Yeah, it's
and then
actually
come
yeah.
back and listen to the rest of the podcast and hear us talking about it. But
Right. This movie actually probably works better if you go in not knowing anything.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, like,
I knew nothing outside of the general premise and the trailer, and I
mm,
don't think I even rewatched the trailer before I rewatched this. Or before I watched this for the first time, and I enjoyed it so much more. Because honestly, like the less you know about a movie going in, the more you're probably going to enjoy it. Because the more it's going to surprise you.
yeah, no, absolutely, totally agree. All right, so where do we want to go? Do we want to go to the hotel scene, where they're in the motel scene, or
Sure.
Jesus? Because like that is wow. Uh, yeah, so basically, the scene where like when they stop at a motel to get some rest, then immediately, of course, Franklin goes into the bathroom, locks the door to text to fake Becca. Of course, Chuck's phone goes off, and they want
Right.
to he wants to take his relationship to the next level.
And he's every time Franklin is texting Becca or messaging Becca, um, when he's around his dad's phone is going off. Like it
Yes,
happens when they're driving
yeah, and he just like slaps his
at one point, and he's like slapping his pockets, so Franklin doesn't hear the ping on his dad's phone, and yeah, when they get to the hotel, like Franklin goes into the bathroom and he's doing what a young man is wont to do when he's
hmm
alone in the bathroom
Yeah.
talking with the young lady.
Oh boy. Mm. Wow.
And
And yeah, and that's the point where he's dirty talking with his own son. Oh God, this scene was just like
you're just feeling all sorts of second and third hand
it,
embarrassment.
yeah, it's just there's just so much fucked upness
Yeah.
happening here. Oh boy! I mean, it works. It's a
And
good
Chuck
scene.
also kind of realizes like how they're getting into this really weird area, and so he kind of tries to stop things before they go too far, and he's like
Yeah.
knocking on the door of the bathroom,
Oh
and
right, yeah. It's like I gotta use the bathroom. How long are you gonna be
yeah,
in there?
and it's wow, it's just
Yeah, it's oof. But I mean, but
wow,
aside from that, scene, there's also like super nice scenes too. Like Chuck
hmm
tries to teach Franklin how to drive his car. He knows
right,
Franklin doesn't know how to, Franklin doesn't know how to drive. When they finally get to Maine to his apartment up there, he sees that Chuck held on to his old car, the car that like I guess Franklin recognized from childhood. And it's like, oh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
still have that car? And it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna get rid of it. Like if you want it, it's yours. I'll give it to you. It's like moments like that that sort of validate him, where it's like, all right, he truly does love his son, and he'll give him the world. He's just
And he's trying in the only way he knows how, and it's usually like super fucked up,
yeah,
and
exactly.
but he's also yeah. So yeah, you can't entirely hate the guy, and you always see where he's coming from. And oh,
Yeah,
there's another scene where we see when Chuck is going back into the diner where the real life Becca works as as a server, and and she like remembers his name from when he was in there last, and and when she comes over to the table, like he has one of her pictures up on his phone because he's
yeah,
been messaging, and he like spills some water to cover up his phone, and she's covering this up, and he of course is like trying to make conversation with her, and by this point like he knows from following the real Becca on social media that she now has a boyfriend in real life.
yeah. Played by comedian Ricky Velez.
Oh, I didn't realize he was a comedian. Okay,
Yeah, he's
cool.
actually. I think Ricky Velez. He's a New York comic. He's actually good friends with Pete Davidson, and he was in the King of Staten Island.
Oh, he was one of the circle of friends, like one
Yeah,
of the tattoo friends.
he was.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. He did look familiar. So, okay, I didn't recognize him from that. Okay, so hey, that's two movies we've seen with Ricky Velez for this
That's right.
podcast. Cool.
That's right. Good on you, Ricky.
And yeah, so the real Becca is dating this busboy, and she's in the throes of this new relationship. She's just like, oh, you're so sweet, and you're so wonderful, and you're so handsome, and I love you, and 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 like when Chuck is talking to Becca again, it gets really cringy,
Yeah.
because he's like, "Hey, are you in a relationship?" And she's like, "Why are you asking? Are you about to get creepy and insane with me? are you are we in an Eddie Deason situation
Oh
here?"
my god. Oh Eddie. Oh Eddie.
This is going back a few years, but I believe we talked about this on the 1941 episode
Yeah, yeah.
of the podcast, where yeah, Eddie Deason, the actor from he's not in Revenge of the Nerds. He's in Grease, and he's in 1941, and he was like the go-to guy to play a nerd in
Yeah.
movies. And he had this social media post where he just got so creepy about this waitress at this local restaurant or diner that he was going to, and
Yeah.
whew,
More like Eddie Sleazen. What? Am I
it
right,
just got
people?
yeah, it got so creepy.
Ye
Got so
gods.
creepy.
Ooh. So very, very creepy.
It's just yeah, and yeah, so Becca's kind of backing away,
Yeah,
and
as you should.
meanwhile, yeah, and meanwhile Franklin thinks, oh, I am going to meet this woman that I've been corresponding with for weeks or months. They're a little vague on the timeline, but he thinks I'm going to meet her for the first time, and we have such a connection. It's going to be so amazing,
Yeah.
and this woman literally does not know he exists.
Oh god. It's so
And
bad.
it's
Yeah, and so also, I think at this point, once Chuck realizes how deep he's gotten into it, he tries
yeah.
to break up with Franklin and
Mhm.
that breakup scene was pretty. I didn't
The
expect it to be as
way
heartbreaking as it was.
Yeah, and the way they visualize that is amazing. Like he's like, I've got to end this relationship. Chuck says, I've got to end this relationship with Franklin because it's wrong. I can't sustain this.
Yeah.
It's not going to end well. So the best thing to do would be to just try to let him down easy, break his heart, and and we see them at the pool of like the condo or the apartment of Patton Oswalt's apartment complex. And when she's like, Becca, quote unquote, Becca says, I'm moving to California, so I can't continue talking with you
Right.
and I can't meet you. And then when we see her do that, we see her like walking on water out to the
Yeah.
middle of the pool. And then she's like, oh, and I'm possibly moving to Japan to put even more distance. And then when like Chuck, when Patton Oswalt tries to ghost her, she just sinks into the pool. And I was like, that's such an amazing visualization.
It was really cool. I really, because like when she was walking
Like,
on the water on the pool, I was like,
yeah,
where are they going with this? And then she just
yeah.
like when she says goodbye and just sinks down
And then it's just,
like a
and
trap
just,
door. I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's like a trip. And that's probably how they did it. I imagine they had some sort of trap door that they just released underneath her.
Yeah. I was like, that's
And
pretty cool.
yeah. And I was like, that's such a cool way to visualize it. And I loved them making those conversations literal.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I haven't seen that in a movie before. I mean, it's like, because it gets kind of dull when it's a movie. It's like, oh, I gotta read a bunch of texts on screens now.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I've noticed
and
that.
like,
I've noticed that like a lot of modern movies, just because that's just how we talk now. Everything's
Mhm.
texting and messaging, and so a lot of movies now just have incorporated that into their movies, just texting. And it's like, yeah, it's like it's weird. I guess we're just still trying to figure out how do you build up tension and
Yeah,
excitement from just checks on the
because
screen.
it's not too exciting to just see a screen with text on it. I remember when Sherlock premiered in like I think around 2010. I think that show started,
Yeah,
and um, like their big revolution was they put the text like floating in the air next to the characters, so we didn't have like tons of cutaways to the screen. And they talk about that in the commentary for the show. I was like, that was their big innovation. And now like lots of other shows have ripped that off,
yeah. I think
and this seemed like kind of like the next way forward to do that.
this it feels like it's a better way to do it. Like I think I've seen
Yeah.
like Ms. Marvel kind of did that too, but yeah, I feel like this is
Hmm.
more like it makes it more personal. I think to see like a person talking to another person rather than just seeing
Yeah, yeah.
floaty
I still
text.
haven't seen Miss Marvel, so I didn't
Oh,
know that they
that's
had
not
done
a
that.
yeah, that's not a huge spoiler. It's just but
I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was. But I mean, okay, so maybe they're not the very first project to do this, but this was the first time I had seen it, so it was new to me.
okay,
But yeah, I thought that was amazing, and they just were so creative with it. And I don't
yeah,
know if I want to see everybody else and their brother rip this off,
no,
but
no, it makes it less special.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And I really do feel like this was such a special movie. It
Mm.
was so, and it's
Yeah,
funny too. I feel like maybe we're underplaying how funny it
it is
gets,
very
but
yeah, it is very funny movie. It's just I don't know. I think there was that one point where Chuck was over at Erica's place, and then
mhm.
I think there was, what was it like? I think she wanted to do something, and she said, "Well, why can't we just have sex?" And then she just said, "Because you're not good at it." I don't know
Yeah,
why that made me laugh. What?
just the matter of fact way that she did it. Honestly, like the more we learn, we learn so much about Chuck. It's so exceptional that he has any kind of romantic relationship going, and
It really is. Yeah.
I wonder if that was just so that he could do the trick with the using the go between for the sexting.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Um,
Yeah, just
because he
because.
seems to have such trouble like connecting with people in a meaningful way. I mean, not that his relationship with Erica is real healthy either, but
No, it's not. I mean, his relationship with Jimmy seems all right, but yeah, he's got problems.
Jimmy, that's
Lil Rel,
Lil
Lil
Rel's
Rel's character.
character.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, but my boy's got problems.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
boy. And yeah, so it's wow. So well, yeah. So like he breaks up with her, and like yeah, and I thought it was interesting too. Like they showed like Chuck crying over, like really just weeping over
Hmm.
breaking his son's heart, which was like, wow,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
again,
and he tries to like when Franklin tells him about it, he's like, "Oh no, Becca broke up with me," and he tries to be sympathetic and be like, "Oh well, screw her. You don't need her, right?" And he's trying to do whatever he can to build up his son's self esteem
yeah,
again. But
because
he's
like through
like,
the text
"No,
between
no,
him and yeah, because like
she's
between
the
the text
love of
between
my
him and
life.
Becca,
You don't
yeah,
understand."
yeah, no, he fell hard for her, like he and like in the text, like
Yeah,
you between him and Becca, you see that like he thinks he doesn't think too much of himself. His self esteem is very low, so
yeah.
it's yeah. So to see things like this is heartbreaking.
And the movie, I think it's really truthful about how intense and how real online interactions can seem.
Mm,
Even if it's somebody that you haven't met in life or that you haven't that you don't interact with in life, even if they live in a different region of the country or whatever, like because you're essentially like letter writing to each other, it does feel very intense and very personal. And I've certainly had uh, relationships like that, particularly like in the age of online dating and all that.
yeah.
Have you ever done any online dating, or did that not become a thing until like after
Uh,
you got together with your wife?
yeah. I think a little bit. Like I met my now wife in '04, so but
Okay,
before that, there was like a AOL Instant Messenger. I did a
yeah.
little
So it's
bit
kind
of
of in its infancy. Yeah,
yeah, a little bit of that, and some Yahoo personals. That is pretty
okay.
much as
So
far as
you
I
never
went.
had to do like the Match, eHarmony,
No, no,
Facebook dating world.
no.
Um,
I did. I went
you
on
lucky
like
bastard.
I know. I got right out in time. Like yeah, like I did like the instant message chat with some ladies back in the day, and
Hmm.
then
Yeah.
yeah, some Yahoo personals, but that was about it. Like
Right. Right.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
so
Yeah. And
yeah,
it's a. I mean, it's a whole different world because like anything on the internet, it just develops with time and explodes and it mutates and
yeah, it's
it's now this weird eight-headed hydra.
yeah. I look at it now. I do not envy anybody having to go through that. I'm like, oh,
Oh
this.
no, it's a hellscape. It's a hellscape. But I mean,
This-
but it can like if it goes well, it feels really good. And I mean because and something I thought watching this movie is like it is sort of a weird parallel with how I know how Patton Oswalt got together with his current wife, Meredith Salinger.
mm.
Like, have you heard the story of how they
I don't believe so.
got together? Okay, well, Patton Oswalt's first wife, Michelle McNamara, she very tragically like just died. I think she had like a heart attack in her sleep, or it was a reaction to medication. I forget the exact circumstances, but it was very sudden, very unexpected, and she was like in her 30s, I think. So
Jesus.
so suddenly he's like the father of this little girl that he has to raise on his own while also dealing with and processing his own grief and all that. And um, Patton Oswalt and his now wife Meredith Salinger, they had a mutual friend, actress Martha Plimpton,
Mm.
who
Oh.
she's been in a million things.
Uh,
And she was one of the Goonies, is probably what she's still best known for. But I
she's
mean, she's done many things besides that. But probably the average person on the street knows her as one of the Goonies.
yeah, she was like in Parenthood too, if I'm not
She's
mistaken.
in Parenthood, yeah,
Yeah.
the original Parenthood movie. Uh, but uh, Martha Plimpton was having like a dinner party, and she invited a bunch of friends over, and Patton Oswalt was like one of the people who went, and Meredith Salinger, for whatever reason, couldn't go.
Hmm.
But I think like they were Facebook friends or something like that. And Patton Oswalt just like sent her a note. He was just like, "Hey, just letting you know you missed a really great lasagna the other night," or something like that. And they just got to talking, and then it became like they were talking every night at like a set time.
Oh.
And so and he said it was like almost Victorian. It was kind of like they were in a Civil War documentary, or
My dearest Penelope.
yeah, exactly. That became like a regular thing, and they just hit it off, and they clicked, and then they finally met in person, and thank God they clicked, and they had chemistry in life too, and they've just been together ever since. And they ended up getting married like I think really quickly. I think he got married maybe just a little over a year after uh, his first wife Michelle passed.
Oh wow.
Um, so I mean that shows you just like how intense
Mm.
the online relationships could be. So I wonder if maybe this project appealed to Patton Oswalt a little bit because this was like the dark side of that.
Yeah, wow, I didn't even think about that, but yeah,
You
that
know?
that does make sense.
Yeah.
Wow, that does make sense. Wow. Okay, cool. I'm happy for you, Patton, our new best
Yeah.
friend.
No, I mean it's great, and they seem to, they seem to love each other so much, and they seem to click so much. They had a podcast together for a little while that
Oh,
I
nice.
listened to. Um, and it was called "Did You Get My Text?" It was just because like even though they were in the same house, like their primary means of communicating with each other would be texting, because I guess it's just easier to text someone than to yell or search all through the house for them.
Yes. Hey, honey. Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess.
exactly.
I hear you.
Exactly.
All right, but yeah. I mean, well, back to the movie. Of course, it's been it's obvious that this pile of lies is gonna fall apart any moment, and of course,
This house of cards is going to come collapsing on down. Yeah.
yeah, and of course, it happens when I guess Erica is at work and I guess she's staying late and she hears like Chuck's computer ping off on and on like message coming in, and so she goes to check it,
Right.
and then she sees the pings are coming from the messages Chuck's been doing with as fake Becca to Franklin,
The
and then
calls are coming from inside the house. Yeah.
exactly, and then so she looks through all the messages, and she sees how far it's gone, and she just
Right. And I
becomes
think she recognizes her own sexting messages.
yeah, and she just gets more and more horrified, and then she
Right.
also sees that Chuck's ex-wife Diane, her new phone number is on a post-it right next to the computer. So Erica's like, I should probably let Diane know about this, and then
Yeah.
she calls Diane, tells her everything. Diane calls Chuck, and of course, Diane not too happy.
Yeah. And yeah, the ex-wife is saying, if you don't, you've got to put a stop to this now. If you don't tell him, I will. And the way it's shot, you don't hear the dialogue for most of the characters. It's shot like a fucking horror movie. It's great. It's
Yeah,
so intense, and I mean, it's like that moment in a horror movie where you realize, oh my, the nice innocent one has been the killer all this time, and you see that incriminating piece of evidence,
yeah,
and I was just blown away by the way it was shot. I mean, I think James Morcini, really talented writer and director. I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for whatever else he does.
yeah. I'm hoping he does more stuff. Like it seems like he's
Yeah,
working more on TV, but I'd love to see him do another movie.
I want to see. Yeah, I want to see him blow up big time, because I mean, I think he's just stupendously talented from this movie. I mean, this is the only thing I've seen him do.
Mhm.
I mean, maybe he's done other stuff that just totally sucks, and this was like a weird fluke. But I'd like to think that he's super talented, and keep an
Right.
eye on him.
Yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, towards the end, we find out that like Chuck is gonna come clean because he has no choice now because like his wife's gonna.
he's backed against the wall, and this is when Franklin is like, I am going to go to the diner where my online girlfriend works, because Chuck is so stupid. He used this girl's real name.
Why would you use like as soon as he did
And
that, I was like, come on.
I mean, he used all these pictures of her, so it's consistently the same woman in the photos, but he uses her actual name because he has so little imagination, I guess.
Yeah,
And he uses like her actual place of work. So why wouldn't his son think that this is a real person who's into him?
I was like,
Because he goes to the restaurant and he sees her there through the window, and and Chuck, as he's trying to drive to the restaurant to frantically head this off, he's also trying to text his son, but because he's driving and texting at the same time, it's coming out very incomprehensible. And we see the fake Becca in the car next to Franklin, and she's saying whatever nonsense words are coming out in his typo written text.
yeah, like hey, let's let's not pretend we don't know each other. Never mind, okay? Or so,
Yeah,
like
but
stuff like
half the
that.
things she's saying are not words because it's
Yeah,
like, if you ever tried to text and drive, it doesn't go well.
no, don't text and drive, guys. Stay safe out there
Yeah,
in the streets.
at the very least, speak to text.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
way to do it.
That's the way
Um,
to do it.
but yeah, and
Yeah, and like I mean, the moment where all this falls apart, where he finally talks to Becca, real Becca, and it's like,
right,
I don't know who you are. I've never met you. And of course, her boyfriend, who works with her, is like, who is this guy?
yeah,
What are you talking to my girlfriend for?
yeah.
It, gee, it's
And
so.
and yeah, and the boyfriend understandably thinks like, oh, is my girlfriend cheating on me? And it becomes like this big thing. And we see Patton Oswalt's Chuck. He like tries to distract the real boyfriend Derek. Uh, he's like in the kitchen. He's like, "Oh, tell me about being a busboy, man. What's that like? What's that all about? They should do a movie about busboys." And
Now, if it was a bus boy, but it was a girl, what would that still be called a bus? Just call them a bus boy?
it's
What's
like,
I
"Oh, I think she'd be called a bus girl." And he's like, "Oh, that's so funny. That's so great. That's oh, you're
it's
so." I mean, he's just trying to keep this guy occupied as long as possible, just hoping that by the time they're done with each other, whatever awkward interaction with Franklin and the real Becca is done with by then. And oh my God, it's just,
Jesus. I
it's so,
It's so like, oh my
it's so
god.
nuts. It's so wild. It's so uncomfortable. And I mean, it couldn't end in any other way.
Yeah, it's like this was always going to end in heartbreak. There's just
Yeah.
cuz he just kept going like so many people told him you need to stop this now before it gets worse.
Right.
And he just kept going till it got worse. And now
Yeah. Because he's so desperate. And the lie just compounds and compounds and compounds. And it's,
yeah,
oh.
it's yeah. Ugh.
And then after that, I mean, and of course, this is like the last straw between Franklin and his father,
Yeah,
because how could it not be?
right. Uh
And then they do like sometime later, Chuck gets a letter in the mail from his ex wife, his estranged wife, saying, "Hey, you're an asshole, you're fucked up, but you should still have a relationship with your son. Uh, the house across the street from us has become available. You should move in because then you could still be in our lives."
right. And then he moves into the house across. He just
Yeah,
picks up.
cut to months later,
Yeah,
Patton is moving into the house across the street, and then the mother finds out about this.
yeah, and the mom's like, "What are you doing here? You cannot be across the street." And Chuck's like,
She
"What are you talking
has,
about? You gave me the idea. You sent me this letter." And she's like, "What letter? I never sent you a letter."
right.
And then,
And then, of course, the other penny drops, and we find out that Franklin has basically catfished his father through letters
right,
instead of, because if he did it through Facebook, that would be,
that would be weird. Yeah.
well, it would be too obvious.
Yes.
It
Letters.
would be too obvious that,
Yes.
yeah, letters the way to go because
Yes.
we're dealing with olds.
Yes.
Um,
Letters. The original Facebook.
exactly, exactly. And so Patton has set up and he's uprooted his entire life, moved into this new place. I presume like signed a lease or something or some sort of
Yeah.
rental agreement.
Yeah. You got to sign
And
something to get a house.
and then he like looks up and sees his son in the window, and his son is just standing there looking at this.
Yeah.
Like, and wow, what such a great ending. And I'm sure that ending is like pure fiction,
Yeah. I would think
but
so. Yeah, because like I was trying to think like, all right, so does the son do this just to totally fuck over his dad, or does he, in a weird way, like still kind of love his dad? Because there were moments in the movie where they did bond, and like there was something also in the movie I think we might have glossed over where when um when Franklin was talking to Frank Becca, he mentioned that he really liked coding, like he
oh
really wants to
yes,
get
yeah, we didn't mention that part. Yeah.
yeah, like he really wants to get into coding, and then fake Becca is like, "Oh, you should totally do this. You get an internship or something." And then we
Hmm.
see Chuck actually send an email to like a tech company on Franklin's behalf to get him an internship into coding.
He sends an email to like tons of people. I don't know if
Right.
it's like tons of people within the same company or tons of people at different companies, but he's like, he's an amazing coder. You should give him a chance. You should give him an interview.
Right. And then
And this,
and at the end of
yeah,
the movie, we see that he got a job coding.
right,
So
and he's doing well at it. We see his boss come by his desk and compliment him, and he's like, "Hey, I just wanted to say you're doing a really great job."
yeah.
Because he apparently landed at the one company in the United States that appreciates its workers,
Oh, jeez.
and
You're not
you
wrong.
know
You're not wrong.
doesn't want to exploit him for everything he's worth.
Oh, welcome to America.
Yeah,
But but yeah, like we see, he got a job coding, and he's actually
mhm,
driving now. He has his dad's old car. So his dad
right.
did get something out of it. His
He
dad,
did. He did, in a weird way, improve his son's life,
yeah, but then he also did,
but he also did that huge emotional damage and it fucked
yeah,
him up for yeah, and so yeah, so that ending, it's like I don't know. I looked at it as like kind of an act of revenge on his father, but is it a weird sort of is it a weird fucked up peace making gesture? You
may
think?
I think so. I think it was a making gesture because it's like you said, like he did do this horrible fucked up thing. The catfishing.
Hmm.
That's the worst. But then again, like you said, he did get him a job, and he did get him a car, and he does leave messages saying, like, I know I went about this wrong way, but I did it because I truly do love you, and like I really want to be a part of your life, and I'll
Yeah,
always be in your corner. I think he's starting to realize my dad's super fucked up, and he's can't get his shit together, but he does love me, he does care, even though he doesn't go about it the right way. So like
yeah,
I think it's partial revenge and partial we're okay. We're cool. I would
yeah.
say.
I don't know. It's such an interesting, ambiguous ending, um, and it's a bit. And I love a good ambiguous ending. I love where it's like, well, what does this mean, or where was this person coming from? What did this person and you got to turn that over and just in your own mind and decide that for yourself. I love that.
Mm.
The worst kind of ambiguous ending is like, what the fuck was that? What went on? I don't
Yeah,
understand.
like
That's when they do an ambiguous ending without meaning to. But
like them David Lynch movies or something like that.
I don't know. I don't want to call out anybody
Uh,
specifically. I
well,
don't have a
I
good
do.
example.
David Lynch. What's up with your movies, man? Good.
Oh, damn, David Lynch.
That's right.
Darren Patterson's calling you out,
That's
son.
right. What's up, dog? You know where I'm at.
I don't know. I haven't watched a whole lot of David Lynch stuff, and
I,
certainly none of his recent work. So
I mean, I just say that because like I remember seeing like in the theater, I watched Mulholland Drive, and
uh-huh.
I was just so damn confused by all of it. I just
Yeah, I
it
don't like it
confused
when I'm.
it confused me to like frustration. I was like, what the fuck was
Yeah,
that?
I don't like that type of confusing movie where it's just like they're being weird and obtuse just for being weird and obtuse.
Yes, absolutely.
Um, this is the kind of ambiguous ending I like, where it's because like that last shot of Franklin, it's just going up to him in the window, and he's just got this neutral, impassive expression on his face, and you're like, is he satisfied that he's did this? That he like fucked his dad's life up,
I
or is it? I don't know. I was thinking of it as just straight revenge, but the way you're looking at it is really interesting to me, and I can't dismiss that out of hand.
yeah. I mean, I only say that just because after you said like the boss compliments him, he kind of gives pause and thinks about it. Like it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I did in a weird way get this really cool job that I'm good at and people appreciate me in a weird way. My dad,
Right.
it did. He was like, I think he's starting to realize it wasn't all malicious, or it wasn't malicious at all, but it was just
Yeah.
like I said, like there was good in his heart. Just he's just a fuck up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And yeah, and I think that's the big thing is we see throughout the movie that Chuck he tries to do whatever he can to make his son happy in the moment, but he doesn't like think ahead enough to be like, oh, that dog already has an owner.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
uh, this is a real person who doesn't know my son. I should maybe not impersonate her and catfish
Yes,
my own son.
yes,
But he doesn't think things through enough to know, oh, this is something I should not do.
exactly. He doesn't think ahead. He just thinks for the now. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is making my son happy now, so I'll keep doing it until this whole thing crashes and burns inevitably, which it is
Right.
destined to do, and I'll deal with
And
that
every
later.
time that happens, Chuck is like genuinely surprised and horrified
Yeah, exactly.
because he's
So
like,
many
who could
people,
have possibly seen this coming?
everybody that told you this was coming,
Yeah.
I was just like screaming at the
And
screen.
you know another thing I really liked about this movie is it just like got into it. It just kind of cut to the chase at the beginning. Like we find out early on, like the son's been depressed. There's been a suicide attempt, and then like a sort of a montage under the opening credits. Well, I don't know if it's a montage, if it's just verbal, but we hear a series of phone messages from Chuck to his son,
Right,
just kind of explaining and apologizing for all these various ways that he's let his son down. And I'm just, that's such a great way to establish like their relationship and the history of their relationship. And we're not wasting like 30 minutes
right.
doing this. We're just boom 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 boom. And I love that. Like so many movies, like they don't do that. And this is a great movie, and it doesn't waste a minute. It's only like 90 minutes, but it's
Yeah.
so packed full of stuff. It seems like it's longer than it is in a good way.
Right. Yeah, it moves at a pretty good pace. It doesn't like drag
Yeah.
anywhere. It's a
No,
yeah, solid movie. I was really glad we did
it's
this.
really good. I was so impressed with it, and I want to keep an eye out for whatever James Morosini does. I like I said, I really liked Claudia Sulewski. I want to see her in other stuff. Because I don't know how old she is or anything, but she was really great. And it's just such a good, assured, varied performance.
Yeah.
You know,
According to IMDb, Claudia Sulewski, 27, so she still got
27. Okay,
yeah.
yeah, and so she's playing younger than her age, I think. And James Morosini, he was like 31 when he was doing this movie. He's 32 now, and it's based on real experience that he went through when he was 20.
Yeah, I don't.
And did you do any reading on this? I like after I finished the movie and like at the very end of the movie, he's like, "This movie is dedicated to my dad,"
Oh, yes, I did see that.
and it just kind of like put it in my head again. I was like, "Oh shit, this is real. I'm going to have to do some reading up on this." So there is a Daily Beast article about this from last March from Kevin Fallon, who yeah, he interviewed him, and yeah, his dad did this in life when he was 20, and apparently in real life, James like caught on quicker. I don't think it got
Yeah,
as hideously fucked up, but
look,
he said it was kind of like them reaching the bottom of their relationship with his dad, and he and his dad were actually able to reconstruct their relationship after that. So they're in a decent place now, amazingly
yeah.
enough.
I mean, the movie's called "I Love My Dad," so
Yeah, yeah, and I love that there's like that double meaning to it.
yeah. Oh wow, I didn't even think about that.
I mean, it's both. I love my dad unknowingly because he's my online girlfriend, but it's
Yes,
also sincere. I do love my dad,
yes.
and
I
in
make
spite of all
love.
the fucked up things he did.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. It's quite a film. Like, I'm surprised. I'm
it
glad we
really
did that.
is.
I'm glad we watched this film. It was a lovely
So am
surprise.
I. I was expecting this to be good, but it was so much better than I was expecting. I love it so much when a movie exceeds your expectations.
Yeah, no, solid film. Solid films.
Yeah,
Listeners, we highly recommend this movie if you catch it. It's on Hulu right
yeah.
now,
And
and please
it's
check
on
it out.
Hulu right now. I watched it on Hulu. I think it's also available to rent on Amazon Prime. Um, but so good, so good. And I hope you haven't listened to this whole thing with us discussing because watching is so much better.
Yes,
But
highly recommend
but
you watch it with your dad.
maybe, but yeah, Morosini said in this Daily Beast article, said, I took the kernel of what actually happened and extrapolated on that, and used my imagination to push it to the furthest degree of what if it had gone even further in this direction, or what if I hadn't found out, or what if it had taken me longer to find out. It says in real life he struggled with depression and anxiety throughout much of his 20s. He and his father were going through a rough time, and after a big fight, he decided he didn't want him in his life anymore. He changed his dad's number in his phone to do not answer. He blocked him on social media. Then one day he got home and saw that a pretty girl had sent him a friend request on Facebook. They had all the same interests. As time went by, he found himself more and more interested in her and excited by their future prospects. Then he discovered that her email address was the same as his father's. So, it says by that point, he and his dad were already planning to go to family therapy to repair the relationship. Before the first session, Morosini printed out this girl's Facebook profile. In the room, his father started talking about how Morosini was being unreasonable for cutting him out of his life. Morosini remembers looking him dead in the eye, slamming the printout on the table, and asking, "Who's Becca?"
He even used the same name in the movie. Oh my.
Yeah, I hope it was just the first name, because if it's first and last name, that's a lawsuit in the making.
No.
But Morosini says, it was us hitting that rock bottom in our relationship, but it forced us to confront some of the foundational problems of our relationship and actually caused things between him and I to get a lot better over time because we had to talk about it. So, yeah, and he says, it's funny that this moment in my life with him was maybe the saving grace of our relationship, in that it caused things to really break apart. There was no more pretending. We were both able to agree, like, this is very fucked up. And now we have to talk about it. We can't pretend things are fine between us.
Wow.
So, and amazingly, they have a good relationship today. So I could see why his dad would really have misgivings about.
Yeah, I can see that.
About, I'm going to make a movie about this low point in our relationship.
It'd be like,
and that's why he had.
Yeah.
That's why he had the title card that said, "My dad asked me to tell you it didn't happen." Which,
but it did though. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love my dad. Check it out, guys. We can't recommend it highly enough.
It's great. I mean, it's for anyone who has a parent or has a kid and has been embarrassed or horrified by them at some point. Which I think most everybody has been embarrassed by their parent at some point.
I would think so. Yeah.
Everybody can relate to that.
Yeah. I don't think too many people out there have parents that they think are awesome and are flawless. We're all flawed.
So watch this, and if your relationship with your parent is better than in this movie, be thankful for that.
Yay, exactly. If you hadn't had a online text sex with your dad, you're doing things right.
You're doing well. You're doing better than a lot of people have. And hey, I'm so glad James Morosini is in a better place with his dad now.
Yeah, see something.
And I'm so glad that he made this great movie out of it. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. See, something good came out of all this.
Yeah, and it's so well written and it's so well directed.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Just like it's well shot. It moves. It's edited really well. I was so impressed with this movie. It was great, man.
Solid film.
Yeah. So I mean, 5 stars all the way, highest possible recommendation.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 thumbs way up.
Yes.
They're both thumbs from one person. Darren is putting 2 thumbs up now too. So that is 4 thumbs up among 2 people.
4 thumbs up. The highest praise we can give a film.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And and then that's the episode, guys. Thanks for listening as always to the podcast. As always, you could follow us on Twitter at SNL Nerds Show. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible, DARA Incredible. And and also, of course, there's also our Patreon at Non-Productive.com.
Yes. Do that. All that good stuff. The Patreon really helps us out. I should say again, Rachel Dratch is really good in this film. She's kind of in and out of it, but
yeah, it's not like a huge role, but like the stuff she gets, she does very well.
She's really good. She's really good, and it's a really interesting role for her, and she's really good. And I mean, I think pretty much everybody in the cast knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
The actor playing the mother, Amy Landecker, I thought she was great.
Yeah, yeah.
Lo Rel is great with what he has to do. I mean, he again is just in and out. He just pops up every once in a while, but not a weak link in the bunch.
No.
Strong
performances.
Yes,
strong.
I'm sorry, I got sidetracked.
That's okay.
But yeah, you can also follow our individual Twitter and Instagram accounts. Did you give yours already?
I did. DARIN.
You did.
Incredible.
I should give mine.
Yeah.
How about that?
Do that.
I'm a Trumbull Comic. TRUMBULL and the word comic. And say hi or follow me, and don't catfish me.
Please, yeah,
that's not nice.
Don't catfish me either, please. I have a wife, and I don't need that headache.
Yeah, I do not. So I'm more susceptible to that. So yeah, really don't do it with me. Do it with Darren.
No, please God, no! Don't do that, please.
Do it with Darren. He's better able to resist temptation.
Yes, I am.
But don't do it with me. I have no money.
I have nothing to give.
Money. You can't get blood from a stone. You're not gonna. Yeah.
I have nothing to give.
I have nothing to give. I mean, hardly anything emotionally. Definitely not financially.
Oh wow! Okay.
I'm keeping it real, son.
Yeah, no, I love it. Please, this is some real talk here.
But yeah, what are we doing next week? We talked about this.
We did.
We went back and forth on a couple things. I think we've arrived on what we're going to do for next week.
I'm going to say it, so I'm hoping it's the thing we agreed to. I think in celebration of the newest Indiana Jones movie coming out, we're going to go hop back in the Wayback Machine and do Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which has Dan Aykroyd in it, which I totally forgot he was in that thing.
He is in it for a matter of seconds.
Nice.
But it's a cameo role, but god damn it, he is in the movie. And by our standards, if a movie stars an SNL cast member, even for less than a minute, which this one probably does, it qualifies as an SNL movie in our minds.
That's right.
So, and hey, why not watch one of the less good Indiana Jones movies?
Yeah, less said about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the better. But yeah,
I honestly haven't watched Crystal Skull since it came out, and I feel like I should give it a full rewatch. In preparation for the new movie. So I think I'm going to try and marathon all the Indiana Jones movies, get myself hyped up for this new one for Dial of Destiny, which I hope is good. I
hope it's good as well. But yeah, as far as Crystal Skull goes, yeah, you look at that and you tell me how it turns out.
Yeah. I'm going to watch them in order, so I don't know if I'll watch it by the time we record next week's episode. But
okay.
I'll watch it.
All right.
I'll watch it.
Okay. I mean, I just remember seeing that movie.
I'm going to watch the fuck out of it.
Damn. Oh, whoa. So
that movie will be totally fuckless by the time I am done with it, because I will have watched the fuck out of it.
So aggressive. Where's all this aggression coming from? My stars.
It's residual anger from 2009, I think.
Oh, God. Yeah, I remember seeing that in the theater opening weekend, and it was I remember us getting there late, and the theater was so packed we had to sit in the front row and crane our necks up.
Oh yeah, that's never a good way to see a movie.
So we saw that movie in the most uncomfortable position, and it was just.
So you got to be disappointed by a movie, and you got a crick in your neck by the end of it.
Yep.
So that's that's not, and when it's a sequel, you have to wait more than a decade for, and it's not all that it could have been. You're extra disappointed.
Yeah, you could feel the disappointment in the theater. When Indy comes on, everybody's yeah, all right. But then as the movie went on, and just refrigerator.
Oh, this is not good.
And
it's Shia LaBeouf. And he's Shia LaBeoufing all over the place.
Yeah. He's swinging from vine to vine with monkeys.
And they put in an actual Tarzan yell. Oh, that's not good. No, they're space aliens. I'm sorry, extra dimensional creatures.
Yeah. So you rewatch that. You let me know how it is.
Yeah.
Second thoughts?
Look, I I don't want Dial of Destiny to be bad.
No one does. No one does.
Because it's like Raiders, Stone Cold classic. Last Crusade, I think another Stone Cold classic. I think it's great. Not quite on the same level of Raiders, but still a wonderful film and very rewatchable. Temple of Doom, I generally like. I think it's good, but it's got its problems.
All right, I remember liking it as a kid. I literally haven't seen it in like years. So
yeah, I haven't rewatched it. I don't rewatch it as much as the others.
Okay. I mean,
because like see above problems.
Okay. All right, cool. No, I'll be happy to rewatch it. I just remember.
So we'll get into the Indiana Jones of it all next week. That's what we're saying.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what we're saying.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah. So next week we'll be talking all about Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. But until then, nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.